It's May the 15th and I'm really hoping that the risk of frost is finally past. So today John is going to build a structure for my climbing French beans and my yard-long beans to scramble up, and we can get them out of the greenhouse and into the ground. So if you're wondering why, if we're going to be creating some structures for the beans today, why are we driving? Well, a few months ago I volunteered for a day at the Woodland Trust and went coppicing. And coppicing is when you take hazel trees down to the ground and then they grow again, so they have multiple stems coming up, and you cut them back down every sort of 3 or 4 years. And it means you have really good sturdy poles for pea support or bean support or whatever else. So it's a very traditional English thing, at least. I'm sure they do it in other countries, but if you do this you are guaranteed a supply of stout poles of whatever size that you require. So it was a pretty dreadful day when I went coppicing earlier in the year, and this is the first opportunity we've had to go back and see whether or not any of the sticks that we cut are still there and salvageable. So we're going to drive over to Rotten Row, of all places, in Wannabesmallholders, and go to the woods where I did the coppicing earlier in the year. So the sticks are there, all the pile that I left before. Unfortunately, I forgot to remind or tell John that the path towards the coppicing area is full of nettles. To be honest, I didn't realise, because when I came here earlier on in the year I didn't notice any nettles because it was very wet, somewhat windy, and obviously earlier in the season, so there probably weren't any nettles then, and John is wearing shorts. So I'm going to have to go and gather the sticks and bring them over here in order that we can ferry them back to the vehicle. So I'll take the Osmo action and I'll go in there and show you the coppiced trees and explain to you what we did earlier on in the year. So these are coppiced hazels. And you can tell they've been coppiced because you've got a lot of little stems coming up from a main base. So you can see these sticks here. I don't know, maybe they're a year or 2 years old. So depending on what size sticks you need, you would then come back in the early spring or late winter and gather the sticks that you require. So if I bring you through here, I have to say it's a very good thing John's not here with all these nettles. They're huge. So you can see, going back in time, as it were, some of these are quite a reasonable size. And you can see these are the ones that we did this year. So you can see much more clearly here on the tree stump, and just coming up all around it you've got all these little ones. Now we also put some of the brash, some of the bits around what we had cut, in order to try and dissuade the deer from browsing on them. So you can see down here, hopefully, this is all a lot of the sticks that I cut, and they'll be absolutely perfect for creating my bean structure later on today. You can still hear the traffic, but you can hear so many birds. It's a beautiful morning, such a beautiful morning, and such a beautiful sight. Anyway, I'll see you in a bit. I've got lots of carrying to do. See, that's a nice long one. Seems a shame to have to cut that. John would have been stung to death coming out here. I've even been stung through my trousers. Doesn't seem that far to come unladen, but carrying those sticks, it seems like a very long way. And all of a sudden I gain a great deal of respect, even more respect than I ever would have had for the poor peasants in the old days who would have had to carry them miles and miles in order to be able to use them. Here's to the peasants of England. Okay, so here we have all the coppiced wood that we picked up from Wood this morning. These are the sticks, or some of the sticks that we cut in about February, I think it was, February, early March, from the Hazel clump that is in Wood that's managed by the Woodland Trust. I think hazel is generally used because when you coppice it, you cut it right down to the ground. It grows back quite straight and it grows back quite quickly. So I think some of these bits will be 3 years and some of the thicker bits are probably about 5 years. So this is what we're going to use today, or what John is going to use today, to build my bean structure. So he's going to get pieces that are hopefully fairly straight and probably more evenly matched in terms of length of these, and place them like this and dig them into the ground here, like so. So we'll have beans can come up here and up these bits as well. So this will be like almost like a wigwam going all the way down, probably about 10 of these, 10 or 12. I'm going to put my compost in the centre trench there and dig it all in so it gives the beans something to grow into, and I'll be planting beans at the base of these to grow up. I've also got some runner beans that I'm going to put in the middle going along here because John doesn't like them. There's only a few of them, so I get to eat them, and I'll put a little wigwam of twigs around them to help them grow up into this structure here. So that's what John's going to do for me today, and I'm going to be digging over that bit there to put the corn in. So I hope you like the finished structure. After John worked so hard to put it all together, it looks amazing. And the first thing I did, of course, was plant some beans into it. So we've got 4 climbing French beans, that's Matildas. I've got 6 yard-long beans. I've got some more coming in the greenhouse that are going to go out. But it's a lovely firm support. I like the rustic look. I like the way it's held together with orange twine. It'll weather any weather, I should think. I'm looking forward to seeing it covered in beans. Now that the risk of frost is over, hopefully, I have planted out all the plants from the greenhouse in this corner. So we've got Belotti beans along here. So there's ones that have already started. I think I started them in March. I've also sown another set of seeds here, so we've got a bit of successional sowing going on here. I've transplanted the sunflowers that have been self-seeding all over the garden, so I think they're going to be giant ones. I've transplanted them all so they're against the fence there. If I find any more, I've got a few more spaces I can pop them into. I've sown come back over here. I've sown the maize. I've got 2 different types of maize going on there. Some of them have been growing for longer than others in the greenhouse. So again, I'll have successional sowing there, I hope, which means that we'll have a longer season for picking our sweet corn. And I've also planted a couple of little, I think they're called teddy bear sunflowers at the front of the quince tree. So hopefully they'll stay nice and low, and they'll look like little pom-poms. So I've almost finished in this part of the garden here, but I have left a few spaces just in case there's anything else I want to pop in at some point. Thanks for watching our Wannabesmallholders video this week. If you liked it, please share, subscribe, click the little button that says notify me of new videos, and we look forward to seeing you next time.